Okay, well, hi everyone. Thanks for being here. My screen keeps freezing on and off, so bear with me. I'm not sure what's going on, but can you hear me? Let's thumbs up or okay, great. So this is our weekly Nourish call, and whether you're here with us live or maybe you're watching the recording, we gather here weekly because we believe in health, right? We believe in supporting each other in healthy habits and learning to be partners with our bodies, right? So, one of the things that I think we've been really focusing on these calls is learning to listen, learning tips and tricks for how to nourish ourselves well. And today is going to be kind of a deeper version of that. I would love for you guys to keep your chats open and respond to any questions in the chat. And of course, we're going to have a dialogue, so bring your voices forward if you're able. And I want to talk about our relationship with food. So, we're all part of this community because we have a shared passion for organic superfoods and living that lifestyle. But I think there's a lot of noise out there in the health world in terms of like what's good for me, what's not, how much should I take? Should I not take that? Is that bad? Should I not eat this? And I was listening to this podcast last week. Joe Rogan interviewed Dr. Zach Bush. And if you guys don't know who Dr. Zach Bush is, he's one of my idols. He's an MD. He was trained in Western as a chemo specialist, Western medicine. And then he's since then kind of transitioned into more holistic and natural approach. And he's really good at teaching about the connection between definitely our soil and our food and our microbiome and our health. But one of the things I appreciate about him so much is he has this ability to make the complex relatable in a deeply human way. And so on the podcast, Joe Rogan just started right away by asking him, "You're a health expert, like tell me, is coffee good or bad for you?" Like there's so much noise and jargon out there around it. And he didn't say what I thought he was going to say because, I was assuming Zach Bush would answer with all this scientific um, knowledge that he has about, inflammation or antioxidants and all these things. And instead, he said, I'm going to pull it up so that I don't misquote him. He said, I think this is one of the next advancements of humankind. We're going to stop demonizing anything nature has provided, and we're going to start looking at our relationship to it instead. And I just thought that was such a brilliant response because it made me realize that for years I was asking the wrong questions. Like I was, instead of asking, is coffee healthy? Maybe the question to ask is, why am I reaching to it? Or what is my relationship to it? Am I enjoying it? Is it like this nice cup of coffee I have daily that I have a really good experience with and relationship to? Or am I reaching to it because I'm completely exhausted and drained and I've been overdoing it and I'm just trying to catch up with life, right? That's a completely different relationship to it. And so I think often, we think about all these things being healthy or good or bad, but more so, what if we focused our intent on our intention with it, and maybe that changes the entire experience and the way that our body receives it, right? So it really made me think about my own journey. There's definitely been seasons in my life where I honestly believed, like, man, if I could just find the next thing, right? The next financial hack or the next health hack or the next superfood or the next supplement or the next thing, right? Then I would finally feel better or I'd finally reach that peak health, right? And when I look back on it, there were times when I wasn't actually making healthy choices out of a space of love, right? It was more so sometimes out of a need because, oh, I should, or, you know, I need to do this, or even that deprivation, lack mentality. And so I've witnessed this myself. Yeah, shame. Definitely shame could be one of them. Um, I've witnessed people who eat all organic food, right? But they still live in fear, right? Or maybe there's people who exercise every single day, and you might think they have a healthy relationship with exercise, but they're actually using it as a source of punishment for themselves because maybe they binge eat or who knows, right? And you can even drink a green smoothie. I'm drinking our green smoothie right now. and still feel disconnected from your body, right? Have you ever done something that is good for you and you think, I know this is good for me, but you're disconnected from it. So maybe it's not as good for you as you might think it is, right? And so it's just really made me reflect on this. And instead of thinking about, what is going to fix me or what is going to fill a need, or like Allison is saying, like help me escape, really the question becomes, what is my body asking for today? Right? So this is where I'd love to bring in some dialogue around this. I'm the end of this call, we have some really amazing Freedom to Feel Good sale items that are on sale this month. So I want to bring those in relation to this conversation. But first, I really want to hear from you guys. Is this landing? Do you understand what I'm saying? And are there times in your life where you've experienced this? Or maybe maybe when you think about your own health, what relationship has changed most for you on this journey and in this community? So feel free to raise your hand, come off mute. We'd love to hear from you.
Hi, can I be heard in
We
this
can
moment?
hear you.
Awesome. My signal's a little shaky right now. So I love this so much, Mary Beth. What a beautiful topic jumping off place. And I'm escaping my children right now on a rock over there. But I just like the awareness around why we're doing what we're doing. If we're trying to just, I think everything, just like parenting, is redirecting, making the choices stronger. So, maybe the reality is I need a quick little escape from, so I don't blow up and scream or something like that. So to pick something that's a little bit more sustainable. And as you're talking about Freedom to Feel Good sale, for instance, I have never used more spray in my life. Notice my husband and I are, instead of flipping out in like a parent moment or a family like angst moment in those fast transitions, trying to get people out the door or change something, just family rhythm wise, we're just chill spraying ourselves real quick. And it's quite a great redirect versus kind of what we were doing before. And so while it's a new tool, I like what we're able to do is change the patterns. And so when you were saying to not make demonize anything here, I love, like, let's just be real. There's a reason why I'm reaching for something, whether it's for a prayer, for a phone call to a friend, for a healthy substance to put in my body versus one that's destructive. Where am I feeling depleted? Where do I need the support? I love it so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. And chill spray is definitely one of the ones we're going to talk about. I have it at my desk with me. I just took it as well, Allison. So thanks for that reflection. And anyone else feel inspired to share around this topic?
I
Darius,
do.
yeah, you're
Uh,
on mute, so
oh,
there you
hi.
are. We hear you. Hello.
Hi. Sorry. I meant lying in bed. So I've been trying to like eat more healthy. Some like I've been trying to eat more healthy, just get a healthier lifestyle. It's kind of hard. I just go for walks. I don't do any intense workouts. It's hard to know like what foods are the most healthiest to eat. I love fruit for sure. I'm trying to eat more vegetables. It's just like I don't cook a lot, so Um, it can be hard just to make your own meals sometimes when you're so limited in like your cooking experience.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I think in terms of what we're talking about in this discussion, maybe it's the idea of changing your relationship to why is it hard? Because I think that we create these parameters for ourselves that like health is hard, right? And where does that come from? Why is that present? And so maybe if you can find a way to make it a little bit more joyful, so like each walk you're going on or each piece of fruit you're eating, it's coming from that space of like, this isn't hard, this is fun and easy and joyful. And I think when we have that perspective, our health can make like grandiose we can get really far in our health is what I'm trying to say. And so in terms of this question, yeah, like maybe just thinking about, okay, what are the healthy habits I'm doing right now that I really enjoy, and how can I find a way to be more consistent with those? Or for me, I love to eat fruit. Like it really brings me a lot of joy. And I know there's information out there that says like, oh, well, fruit has too much sugar or this or that. But what I've really come back down to is like, how do I feel when I eat fruit? I feel really good. I feel hydrated. I feel energetic. And so I'm going to stick with that rhythm. And so then when I'm, doing that habit, there's this healthy connotation with it. And I think our society really denotes that experience. Because if you're eating fruit thinking it's unhealthy and all these things, Bill's probably going to do the opposite for you versus if you're actually really enjoying that. So, I mean, there's so many places to start, and we could get into a much larger dialogue, but in terms of this conversation, that would be my suggestion and my offer.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah. Rita, I see your hand raised.
Hi, good to see everyone. I always love this community space. So yeah, it was my husband's birthday that we were celebrating this week. And so there was like a just like a standard chocolate cake that the relatives brought. And I was like, okay, I'll try 2 bites. And then I was like, wow, I can't remember the last time I felt this disconnected just after a couple of bites, right? And and it was just a good reflection. And then I was reflecting on like, wow, I had my power shake this morning and I felt so energized and calm and clear and connected. And I was like, so I want to feel that way. So what I love what you're saying is really around choice. And I know we've had this conversation before about around baseline, but I think the more connected we get to ourselves and to nature and a different baseline, we know there's a clear signal, a clear intelligence of what's really serving. So then the next time I was offered it, I was like, no, I'm just going to make up my Epigenius and my power shake. And it tasted like chocolate cake, except better. Like it tasted so good. But I didn't get that. It was like that mental brain fog or that disconnection. And I think that just becomes kind of a norm. Um, But for me, the choice was so clear. It was, I want to feel good in my body, and it's not worth it to me not to. So it was good experiment to see the difference, and to be like, wow, no, thank you. and, and then, so yeah, I was thinking, there's also our mama growing up, she would make us these chocolate zucchini cakes and they're delicious, like so good, but it doesn't give me that disconnected feeling afterwards. And I see this kind of topic and conversation so much around food, around sugar, around all these things, and people equate oftentimes like sugar and things to happiness, quote unquote. But I think really when we tune into our true happiness, it's a taking away of that happiness if we're tuned into ourselves. So having a really simple alternative of like, man, I know how I feel after my power shake mixed with Epigenius, and it's good. It's like tingling alive. It's clear. It's connected. And I know how I felt after those couple bites, which felt like very disconnected. So that is, I just want to share that. And then when I have like my mama's zucchini chocolate cake, I feel good. I feel connected, right? So there is healthy alternatives. And I think just what are we settling for? What is happiness actually? What is our definition? And for me, it's that feeling state. It's that feeling state. And then choosing it, choosing how I want. And sometimes, that can be the little 10-minute walk or staying hydrated or staying consistent with your shake or, whatever it is, but it's that honoring that relationship to yourself first and foremost. And there was the greatest quote, I think, I think it is, anyways. It really resonated with me. It was saying the only person that you have to impress is your 8-year old self, your 8-year old version of yourself, and your 80-year old version of yourself. So um, I think that also really helps on just those simple daily habits and decisions.
Yeah, I love that, Rita, and I love how you take it back to just making the empowered choice. Like, it's not like you're not reaching for the chocolate cake because you're, saying, "Oh, I don't want to eat those calories," or that's, going to ruin my gut health, or you're not going from that kind of shame or guilt space, but you're coming from, "No, I didn't want to eat it because it just didn't make me feel that good, and I want to honor that," right? And so I think the more we can empower our choices with health, I think that really creates the navigation for our experience with health. So I love that you bring that forward. And um, yeah, I guess I'll just end there because I loved your share. Thank you. Robert.
Yeah, this is such a good conversation. I love Dr. Zach Bush, and I think it's so important to address these more subtle psychological layers. And that's why I wrote the word shame, because I heard once a doctor from Canada who studied addiction for 30 plus years. His final conclusion was that all addictions are rooted in shame. And I reflected in myself and like eating habits over the years, and I'm like, yeah, I've always been taught that candy and sugar is bad and fast food is bad and all these things. And yet I got addicted to all of it as a teenager, as a child. And I noticed that when we're feeding the shame story, what we're doing is creating this vicious cycle of, oh, I'm ashamed, so I'm going to punish myself. How do I punish myself? By doing the thing I'm ashamed of. And then it just keeps going and going and going until we address, of course, the root. It's like if we're pulling weeds, we got to get the roots out. So I think this conversation of right relationship and like, why am I choosing to do this or not to do this? And giving ourselves grace, I think, is really important too, especially when it comes to food, because it's rooted in these deeper, you know, psychological layers. At least that's been my experience. So thank you for bringing this forward. It's so important.
Yeah, that was really well articulated, Robert. And it brings to topic that idea of just like taking the pause. Our life is so fast paced and there's so much demanded on us and there's so much information coming at us that I think we often forget to just take the pause before we make the choice to really tune into what we're feeling, what our relationship is to it, where is this coming from? And I think, like you said, the grace, giving ourselves grace, giving ourselves pause, I think to me, that is where we can start to shift the habits and shift, the cycle that you're talking about. So thanks, Karen. Be safe. I know you're driving.
You kind of went away for a moment. I'm kind of in the woods. This is such a delicious conversation. Oh, thank you so much. And I resonate with all of your comments. I truly, truly do. I wanted to just say that, I had, let me say this, a very poor relationship with food, but since since I've started with you guys, I have a very healthy relationship with food. And just a kind of like a redundant question. Um, do you think possibly like that delicious chocolate cake that Rita was talking about, if you stay away from it for months and months and months, and then when you finally take that bite of it, it almost tastes like dirt. Do you think there's a lot of truth to that? Thank you guys. Love you all.
I do because like anything, our bodies can become accustomed to things. And so, like you just get used to it. Like, oh, I think this tastes good. But like when you start incorporating things into your palate and your lifestyle that expand your view of what is good, all of a sudden, like I have that experience all the time. I'll go back to something that I used to eat as a child and that I remember loving. And I'll try it now and be like, wow, that is not what I thought it was. I don't remember, like I'd rather not, thank you. And I think there is scientific information around how our taste buds change quickly. It actually only takes 7 days to change a taste bud. So, there's the underlying sugar addiction that can be there, but the actual taste kind of thing, we're just kind of like pre-programmed to think what tastes good and what doesn't, a lot of times based off of memory, or a lot of times based off of an experience. Like, oh, I remember that tasting good because I used to have them at my grandma's house, and there's like this nostalgia that comes with it, right? Because of the experience. But yeah, Karen, I think you're tuning into that subtle awareness that we're talking about of like, wow, I've taken a break from this for months and I go back to it and it just doesn't really taste good anymore and I don't really want that. And I think we should honor that, of just like, here's an experience I'm having. How does it feel to honor that? Again, asking ourselves the questions. Um, and say you like over divulge in it and your taste buds get back to the place of feeling like it tastes good, going back to that question, well, it tastes good, but do I feel like it's really serving my body in the way that I want? Like, what am I trying to get out of this? Am I trying to get energy? Am I trying to get comfort? Am I trying, like, I think it's so individualistic in that way of like, what is your individual motive? What is your individual intention with it, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Well, great. Thanks for the questions, you guys, and the comments in the chat. And yeah, I mean, Robert's bringing up a good conversation in the chat too of how a lot of our what we desire and want can even be tied to parasites. So that's a big conversation as well that I know we'll get into in another day, and we have before. But really, I just want to thank you all for having the conversation because I'm always inspired by the different journeys that we're all on. Yet, we all have a very similar destination. And I think, lasting health isn't just about absorbing more information. I think it's really about building those healthier relationships, first and foremost with ourselves, and then the choices, the empowered choices, the dignified choices that we make every day. So, I want to tie this into our Freedom to Feel Good sale because there's some great things that the sale ends tomorrow, and maybe you guys don't know about these products, or you do, or you just want a reminder. But this idea of how we incorporate the choice with these things. And honestly, I don't really even see products anymore when I look at our superfoods. What I see is invitations, an invitation to make a healthier choice or develop a deeper relationship with something. So I'm going to pull up this little slide. Give me 1 second. Um, and just so you can get a visual, because I personally do pretty good with visuals. Oops. Let's see here. Okay, so here we are. We've got a couple cool things that the Sleep Nightly is 15% off. And I know a lot of you on this call have talked about how much you love it. And I think when I look at this product, it's not just about like, the sleep that it provides us, but really that idea of changing our relationship with rest. So we've talked about this kind of how our culture teaches that hustle mentality, always be on the go, always be consuming more, always doing more. And so the question I've been asking myself in relation to Sleep Nightly is rest something I have to earn, or is it something that my body really deserves? And so, that's when I've been taking my Sleep Nightly at night. That's something I've been telling myself is just like, as I take it, like, I am in so much deep appreciation and gratitude for allowing and gifting myself this rest and not feeling like I have to earn it or that it's unproductive, but that it's one of the most productive things I can give to my body is a good night's sleep, right? So, how do we change our relationship and how do we view our relationship with rest? Um, the other thing that we talked about on this call is the chill spray. It's buy two, get one free. And I actually bought like I got two buy two, get ones frees because we use this so much at my house. I have kids and we're busy all the time and just lots of things going on. And so I'm used to really reaching for the chill spray, like you were saying, Allison, in a moment that might feel frantic. But really, what I've been inviting myself to look at it is the freedom to find my calm. And calm is not something that we just stumble upon, right? It's something that we intentionally create. So our nervous systems are constantly responding to the pace of our lives. And what if instead of reacting immediately, we created that tiny moment of pause that we were talking about to just breathe, to take a moment of reset. And that for me is what the calm spray is. It's like I take a moment to breathe, I take a moment to reset with a few sprays, and that pause probably is more beneficial even than in that moment than the spray is to me. It's just, taking the moment to be intentional about that. So I love calm spray. It's like a nervous system regeneration in a bottle. If you haven't tried it yet, I would definitely give it a try. Um, and then we have the White American Ginseng, which I am saying, the freedom to feel steady. So White American Ginseng is really incredible for our adrenals, especially as women. It's really good for our hormones. And I love this one because it reminds me that true energy is not borrowed, right? It's built. And in our modern culture, we often are borrowing energy from many places. Our adrenals are fatigued because we're constantly doing more. We're looking for stimulation. That's just like putting a band-aid on rather than dealing with the root. And so many of us, and many, if you have in the past, please drop a one in the comment, like if you found yourself chasing that stimulation. And it's chasing stimulation more so from a depleted place, right? Than a full place, than a joyful place, than an enlivened space, right? So instead of asking, how can I get through the day today? Maybe we begin asking, how can I create rhythms that intentionally sustain me? And for me, that is the White American Ginseng. I take that every morning, and I truly see it as a rhythm that allows for that sustainable energy versus trying to borrow it. So that's a great one if you haven't dove into the White American Ginseng. And then we have the 40 aloe X or 40X aloe vera. I take this one every single morning in my water with um, my mineral drops, my aqua vibrance. And I like this one because I think about the freedom to support digestion. I don't know if you guys know this, but digestion actually begins before we ever take the first bite. It actually starts in our saliva. So the moment that we bring food in front of us, we naturally biologically start salivating. And that's actually the start of the digestive process. There's actually digestive enzymes in our saliva that begin digestion. And again, it's just this idea of like slowing down, breathing, being present, and actually taking that moment to allow our body to receive the nourishment. So, Darius, this could maybe be something I would suggest as well as like maybe if you're reaching for the fruit or reaching or going for that walk, like, are you taking a moment to actually allow your body to receive the benefits of that? And so that's a practice that I've been doing with the Aloe Digest is that, our bodies are never designed to digest while we're rushing through life. And so when I take this product, I take a moment to like allow myself to just like, I'm going to receive the nourishment of this. I'm going to receive the hydration from this. I am going to receive the way that this is setting me up for a really hydrated, good day. So that's kind of my idea around that one. And then there's two more. There's the control meal capsules are 15% off. This is one that I was taking. I'm not taking it currently, but I did take it when I was in this transition from I was breastfeeding and or pregnant for an 8-year period. And so during that 8 years, I was consuming a lot of food because there was a lot of demand on my body. And so when I finally weaned off of nursing my final child, I was in this routine and this rhythm of eating a lot of food, and now my body didn't need that same caloric input. And so I had this transition period where I was like, wow, I got to kind of shift my routine and rhythm around that. And that's when I brought in the control meal capsules, um, because they have herbs and yeah, herbs in them basically that help your body to suppress its appetite a little bit so that we're not overeating or that we're not, eating just to feel comfort, right? And so when I take these as well, when I was taking these to change that routine and that rhythm of consuming a lot of food in one sitting, I just basically took a moment to pause before eating and just asking myself, like, am I truly hungry in this moment? Or am I eating because I'm tired? Or am I eating because I'm overwhelmed? Or am I eating because I'm stressed or because I'm lonely? And even if I was reaching for something healthy, I was still asking myself these questions, right? or eating from habit. Or maybe eating just because I needed a break, right? Like, I don't know that any of those things are wrong. It's just your relationship to that, right? So to me, the control meal capsule is another invitation just to think about, that awareness of where healthy choices begin, right? Where is it coming from? And then lastly, we have the summer smoothie pack on sale. I consume all of these every single day. These top three products, the Power Shake, Dark Berry, and Super Meal, I put them all in my morning smoothie. I do a combination. Can't beat this in Cocoa Hydrate. I usually do that first thing in the morning as well. And then the Aloe Digest and Green Spectrum is actually what I'm drinking right now. I just love that as like an afternoon combo. Especially when I kind of hit that like 3 o'clock hour and I need something a little sweet or something to feel a little to get me through the day. I love that Green Spectrum and Aloe Digest. So this pack to me, I think is a great explanation of how we can lessen the complication around health. Because as Darius was saying too, and we talked about in the beginning, there's so much information out there about like what's good, what's bad, what should we be doing, what's a healthy habit, what's not. And so this pack to me, everything I know in this pack is good for me and is serving me. And so I was thinking about like what if we looked at health instead of as overwhelming or hard, what if we looked at as like just blending and making up a colorful smoothie each day? Because, we're just having fun. We're adding color into our life. We're doing something that brings us joy. We're not following another rule. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just doing a simple act of caring for ourselves. And to me, that's what my morning smoothie is. It's more so that act of caring for myself rather than, what's all in it, even though I love every single one of these things in the smoothie pack. But what if we do that one small rhythm repeated consistently? That I believe can truly transform the way we feel. So that's my little spiel on our sale. The sale's in tomorrow. Wanted to share that in case any of you didn't know that. And I want to just leave you all with one question that you can carry into the next week until we see you again on Thursday. And just think about it. Like the next time you reach for coffee or your lunch or your smoothie or any of these wonderful products, instead of asking yourself, is this healthy? Maybe try asking, why am I reaching for this today? And letting go any judgment. Just come at it from a space of curiosity. Yeah. Because I believe awareness does create empowered choices, and choice is what creates new habits. So, those habits form the life that we want to live. So, that is my call for today. And I really appreciate you all being here and contributing and sharing. And yeah, any questions before we jump off or comments?
I got a quick question for you, Mary Beth. So the aloe digest in the dropper, is that any different from the powdered form that's in the summer smoothie pack, which we purchased that this month, a couple of them for the family. But the dropper, is it just a different way of taking in the same plant or any other changes?
Yeah, so it's a much higher concentrate and it's just pure aloe. So I like both because the aloe digest, you're getting some probiotics and prebiotics in there and enzymes. So it actually really supports it's really good for people who maybe like feel that bloat or get like discomfort after eating. The aloe digest has enzymes and things in there that are going to support that. Whereas the 40 aloe X is just a super concentrated version of pure aloe. And so it's more of a medicinal take. And I personally take it because it's like hydrating at the cellular level. And so, it's summer, it's hot, we're outside, we're in the sun. So I take that 40X first thing in the morning more as a medicinal dose. And then, like I was saying, I still consume my Aloe Digest usually in the afternoon. It's usually lunch is usually my largest meal. So I like to do the Aloe Digest after my largest meal because it has some of those enzymes and things in there to support my digestive process as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Cool. All right, you guys. Well, we will see you next week. I can't remember who's leading next week, but one of us will be here and I look forward to having conversation with you. Have a
Thank
beautiful
you,
evening.
Mary Beth. It was wonderful. Appreciate
Yay.
you. Bye, Allison, Cindy, Darius, and Sandra.